Hello, everyone.
How you guys doing?
Welcome back.
It is Lemac,
It's Carlos,
and we are SumYungGuys.
and welcome to our podcast.
Yeah. It's been a long week, honestly.
It's been a very long week.
Yeah, he's been working a lot. I've been working a lot. Basically, I was in Sacramento for some testing, some classes, so that I could get certifications and move my career path along outside of this, because obviously, well, maybe not obvious. Yeah, it's probably obvious that we're not making money from this yet.
We're trying.
We're trying, man. We're working on it. But
Please
for the day job, for the safe, secure, decently paying job, because that's kind of how I'm seeing it. Like what I do for work, structural steel and all that stuff, that's just to have something secure that pays decently well, that is reliable. It's a reliable paycheck.
Same.
It is by no means anything that I'm super passionate about. I'm good at it. I understand it. I do like it for the most part. I like being able to build stuff and all that, especially out of metal, because it's hardcore. It's metal, pun intended. And and yeah, so that's cool. I do like that aspect of it, but at the same time, it's not my passion. So,
Man, actually, it's so funny that you bring that up. Passion.
passion of the Christ.
Yeah. No, I was actually talking to this old gentleman today. Super cool dude. Hella cowboy. You know, he was on the phone. I was like taking this person up to a different floor. And he's all like talking to this guy. He's like, I guess it was like his ranch hand or something. He's like, yeah, make sure you feed the animals, you take care of them, like blah, blah, blah. The other guy's like, yeah, let me know if there's any job that you need me to do or take care of something. Doesn't matter how weird it is. You let me know. He's like, all right, brother, don't worry. Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll stay close in contact with you. And I'm like, you own land? And he's like, yeah, I have a ranch, this and that. I have a couple acres with some animals and this and that. Mostly horses. I'm like, that's bad. That's badass. And I kind of realized how much I loved working on a farm.
Oh yeah.
I think working on a farm is like,
Oh, it's super rewarding.
at least for me, so relaxing, so humbling, and so like you said, rewarding. It's such a good feeling to be outside working with animals, working the land.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds funny, working the land, brother. No, but
Well, I mean, that's kind of what that's what we were made to do, really. That's like what God made us to do until, we messed up and we ate the apple.
Revolution.
Yeah.
It's crazy. No, man, I miss it. I think I'm pretty passionate about farming and learning about growing stuff and animals and all that stuff. But you can't raise a family on ranching or farming. And it's funny because that's what the farmer said himself. He's like, yeah, you can't do that nowadays. And I was like, sucks and it's shitty.
Yeah, it's definitely very difficult. I mean, running a farm now is like running any business, and there's a lot of debt. Like, yeah, they have millions of dollars worth of equipment, but a lot of it is owned through debt, and it's not necessarily that they own it, it's that they operate it.
Or passed down.
Yeah, or passed down to sometimes, yeah. And even then, the debt is passed down,
Oh, yeah.
So, like, the bank owns everything. They own the land, they own the equipment, they own everything. You just use that equipment to feed your family and, feed the country, too, to a degree, depending on how big your farm is. But for a lot of, like, family farms and career, like, that's their family and that's what they do. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hard work with not as much reward as it used to have.
What would be a passionate job for you? Like a humbling, passionate job?
Ooh, that's a very good question, actually. I would like to be a teacher one day. Yeah. I think, like, when I'm, in my 60s and, like, retirement age, I would definitely be a teacher.
Like a substitute? Or like an actual...
Like a full-on teacher.
Oh, damn. Okay, my bad.
I mean, I could be a substitute, too. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a substitute. Maybe work at a high school. I would definitely want to work at, like, a high school, freshman level high school students, maybe sophomore, just because, like, freshmen are stupid and sophomores have a little bit more life experience and they might have some humility beaten into them by their freshman year, and so by sophomore year they might be calmed down a little bit, and I could be the the old wise history teacher or something that they all go to get some life advice, kind of like a counselor history teacher type vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
That would definitely be something very fulfilling.
I can see that.
But I would do that once I'm like 60 and I have tons of accomplishments behind me, and I can show them all the houses I built, or all the cars that I own that are really cool, and the cars that I built, all the different cool stuff that I did before becoming a teacher.
That's actually really cool.
And then they would actually have some respect for me.
I feel like just as long as you were like a pretty loving and caring.
Well,
and,
yeah, absolutely.
Person,
but at the same time, like, it instills a lot of respect if you've accomplished a lot already. And then you're like, this is who I, like, the first day of school, I can be like, all right, this is who I am, and just like present who I am as a teacher and like all the different things that I've done, so that they have an understanding of like, oh, this is where his knowledge is coming from. This is the background that he has. So he knows what he's talking about when he talks about this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Because that's something that I think is very lacking in schools, is that students don't have a lot of respect for their teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't care about school as much, because they're like, well, what has this person ever accomplished? Why should I be learning from this person?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
When's the last time your teacher introduced themselves to you?
I had a few teachers that I actually respected.
There's a few that actually.
I had a few.
Yeah. There's a few that actually kind of did a full on, hey, look, man, this is my name. Like, this is what I've done, blah, blah, blah. This is where I grew up.
Yeah.
I can probably like count 5.
I had a few great teachers, but most of them were not special in any way, shape, or form. It was just another teacher, another English teacher, another history teacher, another math teacher, another whatever teacher. And it was like, I was not as great a student as I could have been if I had actually applied myself, which I knew while I was in high school. I just didn't care, which is terrible. I hate to admit it, but that's what it was. I just didn't care.
Yeah, somehow I graduated. I don't know yet. I don't know how that happened. Still trying to figure that out.
I didn't like fail all that much. Like, I didn't have many Fs. I got a couple of Ds here and there. But yeah, I did enough to get by, basically.
Gotcha.
And I did well in some classes just because I was just naturally better at it. And I did poor in other classes because I just wasn't as naturally good at it. And I think a lot of students do that nowadays, where they just don't care. And so they just do it because their parents expect them to, because they don't have much better to do, or they're just like, let me just do as much as I have to do and go do the things that I want to do. Which can be good if the things that you want to do are good for you and, have a possibility of paying you out a great deal in the future, like a sport or something like that. But at the same time, applying yourself in school, learning how to study, learning how to learn, those types of things are actually really important. That's one thing that I took away from this seminar that I was in for getting my inspector's certification, was learning how to study, basically. And that was one thing that I never did in high school. I never really studied, and I did well enough to get by. Like I said, a few A's in some classes, B's, a lot of B's and C's though, because I didn't study, but I also didn't learn how to study. And so when I got to college and was in classes where I was like, oh, I want to be an engineer, because that's what I started out doing when I was in college, was I want to be an engineer, just mostly because my parents were pushing me towards something that was a little bit more high achievement type thing. But at the same time, I was interested in engineering type stuff. I like cars. I like building stuff. Those are the things that I have aptitudes for. And when it came to the harder classes like calculus and things like that, I just floundered because I didn't develop the skills of studying, of learning how to study, learning how to learn, learning all these different things that make it so that you can achieve those things. And what sucks is that if you don't know how to learn, if you don't know how to study, you're not going to get better at the thing that you need to learn. And then so it always sucks. Like, it's always difficult. It's always something that you hate doing because you're not good at it, because you didn't learn how to study, which prevents you from being able to get good at it.
What are the keys then? Y'all better start writing this down.
I'm still figuring it out, man. I'm going to be honest.
I'm over here trying to note things down.
Yeah. So, like, I guess the best things that I learned was using, like, sticky note tabs, writing on the sticky note tab so that you have the tab sticking out. And, like, if it's something that you need to reference really quick in the book and, like, learn how to study that part, you can sticky note tab that one page, have a little note on the sticky note tab, and, highlight whatever information it is that you really need to remember. And then, make note cards and stuff and test yourself on it. Have a friend test you, that kind of thing. Memorizing what you need to memorize, but also just learning how to find information. Learning how to find information is one of the most key skills that you could ever develop.
Yeah, it is. I believe that.
Yeah, because, nowadays with the internet so accessible, you don't need to memorize very much at all. You need to be able to apply skills, and you need to be able to find information.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to know how to search for information.
True.
That is one of the most key skills that you could ever develop in your entire life. Learning how to apply skills, learning how to learn a new skill, which means just learning how to practice efficiently so that you actually develop the skills. And then, of course, learning how to find information when you need it.
Yep.
Knowing how to determine whether or not a source of information is a good source of information.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then you open up TikTok and you forget everything.
Don't open TikTok.
What's that, doom scrolling?
Doom scrolling, yeah.
That's what we call it.
I say I don't use TikTok, but I'm on Instagram a decent amount, more than I should be. So
same, bro. I get stuck sometimes, bro. It's not healthy.
It's not healthy at all.
It's dangerous.
And you trick yourself into thinking, because like you'll be like, all right, I'm unfollowing all the meme accounts that are, because we were just talking about this before the podcast. I've started, if I see a meme account, because most of the time it's just meme accounts. I don't follow any, influencer chicks. A few gym chicks, like Lean Beef Patty is the only one that I really follow that's a female lifter. It's mostly dude lifters. If I see a meme account, I follow a lot of meme accounts. If they post one like OnlyFans promotional thing, immediately unfollow that meme account. There's plenty of memes all the time coming up. My friends send me memes. I get enough memes. So I don't need to follow the meme account that is supporting the OnlyFans chick, because that's not something I want to support.
I'm to blame for that, though. Huh? I'm sorry. I send so many memes, bro.
I send a lot of memes, too.
It gets ridiculous. There's times where I'm just like,
one thing I noticed, sorry to interrupt, but one thing I noticed is that a lot of these meme accounts that I'm unfollowing, they don't do the, private account follow, and we'll let you follow if you follow. Like, there was a phase in Instagram where all the meme accounts would be private to give them the air of exclusivity.
Yeah.
To make them seem more like an exclusive, fun account to follow. But every account that I've unfollowed, none of them are private.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You think they took that off?
I think they just stopped doing that. Maybe it's not a winning strategy anymore, but at the time, maybe it was. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like everything's leaked now. I feel like everything's like...
Yeah. Well, all the meme accounts are posting the same memes nowadays. They're all reposting the same stuff off Reddit, iFunny, Twitter, off of wherever. Some of them are making their own original memes, but yeah. So that's one thing. But like, what got us to this whole tangent of unfollowing the OnlyFans chicks is that it's really easy to fool yourself into thinking that you're using Instagram and not letting Instagram use you by, I only follow lifting accounts. I only follow entrepreneurship accounts. I only follow such and such accounts that are edifying me. But oftentimes it's like intellectual masturbation, where you're going through, you're just scrolling on all these accounts thinking to yourself, oh, this is great. You're getting a dopamine kick from thinking that you're learning, when really you're, like Carlos said, you go on TikTok and forget everything you just learned. You scroll to the next video and you forget everything you learned in the last one, and you're not applying any of those skills that you learned in that video that you just watched. So did you really learn anything? No.
When's the last time you looked up? When's the last time you looked up? I feel like, oh my God, there's many times where I catch myself when I wake up, because I work nights. So I wake up, and I wake up like around 3, so I can go to the gym, get a workout, come back home, eat, shower, whatever, get ready for work, and go. But, there's times where I've like gotten stuck charging my phone and standing in my kitchen, just scrolling and like getting my stuff ready, like my pre-workout, my creatine and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, I'll just go right now. And it's like already 3:30, 4:15. I was like, oh my God, bro.
I spent 45 minutes scrolling.
I literally spent,
it's so easy to let time just fly scrolling.
And it pisses me off when I catch myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I need to freaking stop.
Yeah, it's bad. You got to delete the app. I mean, if you're not using Instagram properly, which would mean using it to post content so that you're drawing eyes to whatever it is you're creating, trying to make some money, trying to influence the world in positive ways, that kind of stuff, then maybe you should keep your Instagram account, but you should only be keeping that account that's doing that stuff, not a personal account that you go on for memes. I need to do the same thing. I'm guilty of it too. Like, this is not necessarily I'm holier than thou type, high horse type thing, but it is very important because we're letting these apps use us. We're making them a whole lot of money and not making money ourselves using it.
Yeah.
So
it's so easy to make money nowadays. I swear. And
yeah,
it's
I wouldn't necessarily say it's easy. I'd say there are so many avenues by which you can make money that there are a lot more opportunities that people are leaving on the table than they really recognize.
There you go. You
Making the money is not necessarily easy. It is hard work. You do have to put in the work, and you do have to learn new skills. That's not necessarily easy, but there are so many new avenues by which you can make money that there's no excuse for not making money if you're a competent individual.
That's what I meant to say. It's more broad.
Yes.
More, you know.
And that's part of why everything is so much more expensive, is because there's so many more opportunities for so many people to make so much more money that there's just more money in the system, you know? And so because there's more money in the system, things are going to get more expensive. It's just standard inflation, as if they were printing the money, which they have been printing the money. That's an entirely different topic. But because there are so many more avenues by which a person can make money, like Instagram accounts, these faceless accounts, these YouTube automated accounts, all kinds of different things that you can do that really just require a lot of upfront time investment with no return on investment in the first few months. Then eventually, after putting in all that time, you start making a little bit of money here and there and learning how to make it more profitable, all these different ways to do it that really we should get on top of, because there's no reason why we shouldn't be doing that right now other than time commitments to other things. That's really my main excuse, you could say.
I don't know. I'm getting a little sloppy. I thought after getting recovering from being sick, I was sick for like 4 days. I thought, like, I'm gonna come back strong. Hell no, bro. My morale shot so far down when I went back to the gym the first day.
I feel that.
I threw on like the plates on the bench, and I'm like, all right, I can rep this out. I got 5 in, and I was like, bro,
not going any further.
I'm gonna cry right here, right now, in front of everyone in this gym.
Where did it all go?
No,
where'd
for
all
real.
the strength go?
I was nothing on like liquid diet. I had one solid meal, threw up right away.
That's terrible. I
was like, man, I feel like a little wuss right now. And
I understand.
And it's so weird because I feel weird calling off. I was like double checking, making sure.
Work.
Yeah, making sure that I was like, I was like, are you sure you guys gonna be all right? And they're like, yeah, dude, you're fine. I was like, okay, just making sure.
Well, you're also working 6 days a week, 7 days a week, some weeks. So
yeah, 5-6 days a week.
I can understand the feeling of like, especially because a lot of times it's like just you and a few other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it feels like there's not a lot of staff for the work to be spread evenly. So I could understand where you're coming from, and like, are you sure you guys are going to be fine without me? I can understand that.
Yeah, I just feel bad sometimes.
Yeah, of course. And that's good. That just means you're a conscientious person, that like work needs to get done and I can do the work, so why shouldn't I?
True.
It's kind of the vibe. It's good. It's a good character trait.
Yeah, it is. I like working.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a workaholic. I kind of noticed that.
I am definitely also a workaholic. I realize that I am just working all the time.
It's not good though.
It is and it isn't. At our age, as men especially, it is good. You can find balance by being successful early on, by basically the way I look at the work-life balance, at least for a man that wants to be very successful and have a family and all of that, is front load all of the work. Front load all of the work in your early days, so that, by the time you're 30, 35, you can afford to sit back and rest on your laurels a little bit, because you've done so much work and you killed yourself for 10, 15 years as a young man, so that when you're 35, the rest of your life can be relatively easy, because life is never easy. I don't want anyone to get that confused. Life is hard. Like it's not made to be easy. I don't think it's really supposed to be easy for anyone. Everyone has challenges that they go through. It's never going to be easy, but it can get easier if you front load a lot of work and expect very little in return as far as like being rewarded by the people that are directly in your life. You shouldn't expect all that much reward in that sense. You should expect the reward to come in the form of achieving things that by their nature should, I'm getting very in the weeds on how I want to explain this. Like, you should build the rewards for yourself. It's like building a business. You have a product, you sell the product, and you get rewarded for selling that product. You make a profit. Life is very similar. Doing a lot of work without expecting very much reward, and then eventually if you play your cards right, you do things intelligently, then eventually you'll have much more than you realized. Like, you'll wake up one day and you're like, oh, I'm kind of there. I kind of made it a little bit, you know?
I can't wait.
I'm looking forward to it.
What's your? Oh, I'm here, or like I'm finally here where I wanted to be.
10 mil in the stock market. Decent, like 10-acre property that, like, I'd like to do a compound, 50 acres, and each of my friends have like 10 acres. So like 5 close friends. So I guess 4 close friends or 5, and we have 60 acres, whatever. But 10 acres to myself and my family.
Man, that'd be so nice.
That'd be really cool. But that kind of thing. 10 mil in the stock market that's paying dividends that I can live off of. Kids, wife, cars that I want to build, being able to afford to do the things that I want to do without having, like, F you money. You know? Someone wants me to do something and I really don't want to do it, I can tell them F you, and I don't have to do it. Like, I'm not losing anything by not doing it.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I would get a reward for doing what they want me to do, but if I really just don't want to do it, I could just be like, yeah, I'd rather not. No matter what the amount of money is, you know?
Yeah. I fuck with that. Yeah.
That's what success is to me. And being able to, give as much as I want to give without being worried about harming my own financial situation. Like, if someone comes to me with a problem that they need, that money would solve, or even just time and advice would solve, I can afford to just give as much time, advice, and money as is needed to solve that problem without really being worried about endangering my own financial and, life stability.
Right.
That's what success is to me, is being able to give without worrying about losing.
That does feel good, though.
Yeah.
When you can give.
When I can give without even having to worry about it.
Or like, not even like, a lot of people.
It's not even just money giving.
Right. It's just like the ability to be able to finally free someone from something they're struggling from.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy, though, because I feel like a lot of times people take it the wrong way. When you have enough money, you like give out. I feel like sometimes people are like, oh, he's probably gonna want something in return, or like, now you owe him.
There is that, but at the same time,
but
yeah, go ahead.
But honestly, for me, I don't feel that way. I feel like, let's help this guy, because like, if I was in this situation, like, it would be nice to have someone be the same way, like compassionate, loving,
yes, absolutely,
in a loving, compassionate way, to be able to be like, you know what, don't worry about it, my dude, I got you.
Yeah.
Stop stressing. You shouldn't be living life like this.
Absolutely. There is that side of it that is great to be able to do, but also the reason that I said not only money, but also the time and advice and things like that is because not every problem is solved with money.
True.
And a lot of people that are in really bad situations in their lives, giving them money does not help solve the problem. They could just be in tons of debt. Yeah, sure. But at the same time, just solving that money problem for them usually doesn't fix the actual problem.
Like the root. Yeah.
Exactly. Because the root cause of the problem is whatever got them into that debt in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, they just have poor spending habits. They don't know what to do with money when they have it. They don't know how to hold themselves back from spending that money on the things that they want. So they have no self-discipline. They have all these other life problems that are resulting in them having no money or having a lot of debt or whatever it may be. And then you just give them a bunch of money. Like, for example, lottery winners, usually a lot of lottery winners, the statistics have changed as information has gotten out and become more accessible. But most lottery winners, partly because a lot of lottery ticket buyers are not in great financial situations to begin with, but a lot of lottery winners end up bankrupt within the first 5 years.
That's wild.
A lot of athletes end up bankrupt like within 5 to 10 years after they stop being athletes. Because
or even when they're like they get the big, like they get contract, they get the big bucks, they go straight down. Like where's all that money that you had?
They're just spending it on cars and
you get hurt or something,
food and parties and liquor and women and all kinds of different things, like as if the money is just going to keep flowing forever, when for most people that kind of money does not stay in your life forever. I've got family members that were doing phenomenally at one point in time, and they were really just living life, you know, like they had it, and they did have it, but then they didn't, and now they don't.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So
I've learned that lesson too.
I've seen it happen where people are balling out because they've got it like that, and then situations change. They don't have it like that, and now they're just like, I shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah,
and I never want to be in that position.
Yeah.
I'd like to be making a ton of money for a few short years, if that's all I get, but I want to put that money away in the right places so that I can live off the dividends of putting it away in the right places. Mm-hmm. That's why I said 10 mil in the stock market, because let's say you have a dividend payer of like 3 to 7% per year. 3 to 7% of 10 mil is $300,000 to $700,000.
That's a lot.
3 to 7% is nothing.
No, I mean, it's like a lot over time, though.
Over time, yeah. Well, what I'm saying is, like, so when you invest in the stock market, you can have various stocks or bonds, or there are REITs, which is a real estate investment trust, all kinds of different things that can pay certain amounts of dividends. REITs tend to pay better dividends than just a regular stock, but a lot of stocks pay dividends also. And each stock is going to offer a certain amount as a dividend. So it might be 1% of the stock that you own, you're going to be paid that as a dividend. It's like the company paying you for owning the stock.
Okay.
So like if you have $100 stock and they're paying 3 to 7% per year in dividends, then they're going to pay you $3 to $7 just for owning that stock.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually paid out in quarterly terms. So like every 3 months, you'll get your portion of the payout for that set of 3 months. Right? Mm-hmm. So if, just to make the numbers easy, because there are 4 quarters in a year, if you have $100 stock and they're paying 10% in dividends, every 3 months, you're going to get $2.50.
Okay.
Because over the course of that year, you're going to get $10 in dividends, because that's 10% of 100. So the whole plan, for me at least, as far as stock market value, because I'd also like to have real estate property that, you know, that 10 acres is probably going to be worth $1 million in itself, you know, after building on it too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course. So $10 million in the stock market is not what I mean by like my net worth either. That's just the stock market.
Extra side money.
Exactly. That's my income, essentially, because basically what you want to do is, while you're building that stock market portfolio, you have dividend reinvestment automatically turned on, so that when they give you that $10 every year, it's automatically put back into the stock, so that you have $100 in the stock, they pay you 10%, $10, and then that $10 is automatically reinvested. So now you have $110 in the stock, and they give you $11 the next year. And then you're continuously putting in more money, so that the year after that, you're putting in, or you're getting out, instead of the $10 in the first year, you get $11 in the second year. And then that just compounds and compounds and compounds as you put more money into it, as the dividends reinvest themselves. And then eventually you get to a point where you're like, all right, I'm making enough in dividends that I could just live off of this.
That makes sense.
And 3 to 7% for dividends is actually very realistic. So that's why I said 10 million, because 3 to 7% of 10 million is $300,000 to $700,000. That is a very, very good yearly income.
That's
That's a really good yearly
really
income.
good.
Just for owning stock.
Oh my god,
That's basically how stocks work.
that's actually really good.
I know.
That's very comfortable.
Very comfortable living.
It's a little bit more than comfortable.
Well, I want to live a little bit more than comfortably. Come on, Carlos. What you think this is?
My brain ain't braining right now.
My brain ain't braining. Well, I mean, I want to, build cool cars and have a business and all of that.
That'd be the dream.
There's a lifestyle that I would like to be able to afford to live. I'm not trying to be Andrew Tate, but being able to build the cars that I want to build would be awesome. And not having to worry about how much it costs to, buy this R34 from Japan, tear it down, throw in whatever engine I want, and not have to worry about, this part costs $10,000. This one part costs 10. Buy it. You know?
Actually, yeah. But that's like the worst thing that can happen.
This is actually an R32, I think.
I like the R32.
Anyway, I do too. I like the R34. They're cool, but the R32 is real nice.
Mm-hmm.
Brian from Fast and Furious drove an R34 though, so
Yeah.
that'd be kind of sick.
The mean looking Skyline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from Too Fast, Too Furious. That one, so nice.
Yeah.
All-wheel drive, RB25.
Would you get it like all blacked out, or would you get it just like that one?
Oh man, that's hard to say because that's a legendary look. Like
look so
the
clean.
silver and blue
Yeah.
R34. Like
Can't go wrong.
That in itself. I'm pretty sure there is one Brian's car. Let's see, how much does Paul Walker's R34 cost?
And he would collect them. He was more of a
Oh
muscle
yeah, he was a
fan.
collector.
He was more of a muscle fan car.
Really?
Yeah. It's so weird because he was such a muscle.
Paul Walker's R34 is worth $1.357 million.
Jesus Christ,
$1,357,000.
that's a lot.
Yeah, for that Skyline. That's crazy.
Imagine pulling up, be like, "Hey, can I buy that real quick?"
That's insane. May 5th, 2023, that auction closed on May 5th, 2023, and it sold for $1.35 million.
Oh my god, that was recent.
Yeah, that was this year.
Oh wow,
That's crazy.
lucky guy.
I'm not surprised. I was going to say that car probably cost $1 million, and it cost more than $1 million.
Oh.
So,
Well, okay, first of all, it came out in a very iconic movie.
yeah.
Two,
yeah,
a
absolutely.
legend drove it.
Yes, absolutely.
And
That's Paul Walker's R34.
Right.
If you just wanted a regular R34, granted, there is a drift tax. There's a tax because it's a collector's item now.
Oh wow.
Not like a tax, like an actual government tax. It's just a tax in terms of there's a drift tax where everyone that got into drifting, they all want 350Zs. And so 350Zs are $10 grand when they really should be the Kelly Blue Book value is about 2. And so that's
Really?
that's what they say when they say a drift tax or something like that. Because it's a collector's item, it's more expensive than it's actually worth because there are so many people that want them.
Right. Because of the movies.
Well, yeah,
And
movies, drifting, the
they're good
drift
at
scene.
drifting,
They're cool cars. Absolutely, you can throw a different motor in them, and they're great. They're fun. The VQ motor is not that bad. You have to do a couple of things to it to make sure it's more reliable because they had a certain issue in the pre-2007 350Z. I think that's what it was.
2007. I heard that. Yeah, I heard. I don't know. Someone.
I think it was an oil burning issue, which is common for
Okay.
racers of that year. Rice rockets.
Rice rockets.
That's what they call them.
Yeah, the racers.
But yeah, so JDM cars are my thing, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
So I've got a JZX90.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's really nice.
it's all right. It could be nicer, and
It's
it will be
nice,
nicer.
though.
It's only got 75,000 miles, which is great for
That's
a
so
95.
Okay.
And it's a Toyota. I really need to make sure I get my money up this year so that I can get a truck and stop driving it so much, because I put 15,000 miles on it in a year and some change.
Oh wow, yeah,
A year and 3 months ish.
Don't keep driving it.
Just what I'm trying to do, man. Just walk everywhere.
I'm about
walk
to do
and
that,
bike
bro.
everywhere.
Well,
I should be getting a raise this year real soon.
There's a
in
guy.
the next couple of months.
It's so funny that you mentioned walk everywhere. There's a guy back home, my hometown, that they would call him. In Spanish, it would be el caminador, but in English, it's like the walker. So this guy he got famous for
Really
wearing the same clothes every day and walking everywhere. Like if you spotted this guy, there would be like Snapchats, Instagram posts of this guy, and he was famous for walking everywhere. Like this guy walked everywhere. Like I wouldn't doubt that there's not a street that he hasn't walked by or walked on. And he was famous. People like video him, take pictures with him and everything.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's been doing it for years. Great shape too.
Well, yeah. Walking everywhere all the time will put you in decent shape.
Yeah. It was kind of funny. Like, and then when you wear like a red shirt with like blue pants or something, they'll be like, "Oh, you're
people can spot you from a mile away.
You're the walker.
You're the walker." That's funny. That's good.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about some
Random
stuff today. We were actually planning on talking about like, a lot more in line with the last couple episodes. We were going to go on to like if you fall off the path with Christ and all that, like say you're doing really good and then you have a week or a month or whatever of just you're an alcoholic for that week or a month or whatever.
Jesus.
That's just the example that I thought of off the top of my head. Just like, you're doing really good, you're not drinking, and then, you just binge drink for a month. Don't be super, super hard on yourself, but also work on trying to find, whatever triggered that.
Right.
Because there are definitely things in your life that you could, look for and point out and be like, oh, okay, this is something that brings on the temptation to drink or smoke or whatever it is that you're trying to avoid doing. And just cutting out those influences. And sometimes that can be hard. Matthew 5, I looked up Matthew 5:29 before the episode because this was the topic we were going to talk about. I looked up Matthew 5:29. That one is, if thy right eye cause thee to sin, gouge it out, for it be better that the part be burned than the whole body be cast into hell. And that's a very, very close to home idea. You need to, if you're in a relationship that's really bad for you and it's just taking you further from God, you may need to end that relationship. If, like there's a lot of, it applies to everything, man. It doesn't have to actually be your right eye and gouge it out, but they use that language for a reason, that it's going to feel like cutting off a body part.
Yeah, it's kind of like that saying with like, if God takes something away, will you be okay with it? Because if not, then there's a problem there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an attachment that you probably shouldn't have. If God takes it away from you, then it's probably because you don't need it or it's not good for you.
Or it's holding you back.
Exactly. And so
slowing you down, dragging you.
Yep.
Wasting your time. Mm-hmm. Sucking you dry.
Yeah. And
sorry.
Pause. But yeah, so like there's if thy right eye cause thee to sin, gouge it out. So there are going to be things in your life that you have to get rid of that are going to be very painful to get rid of. But at the same time, don't lose faith in your ability to get back on track either. God is a shepherd, and the sheep get lost in the flock all the time. But the shepherd is always going to go and look for his sheep. He's going to find his sheep and bring them back to the flock. So you need to just look out for God in your life and make your way back there if you need it.
Yeah, definitely.
You do need it. I said if you need it. You do need God in your life.
And just like Proverbs, can't even talk right now. Proverbs 24:16 says, "For a just man fall 7 times and rise up again." The Bible doesn't promise us such a rainbow, loving, easy.
That's why I said life ain't easy.
Yeah, like chill path. There's gonna be some trouble. There's gonna be some, temptations. Jesus was tempted. He won every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus was troubled. We're troubled. It just takes really a lot of fear and the Lord and just really strength, like get really connected with God. Pray. There's always a way out.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to pray. If you need to yell, yell. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to kind of like isolate yourself from a situation where you might fall or get tempted, isolate yourself. Get out of there.
Absolutely.
If you fall, just dust yourself off and be like, God, I'm sorry. I failed. And I'm a sinner and I'm trying.
If the path that you're walking is too easy, you're probably on the wrong path.
Damn.
That's usually the case. If the goal that you want to achieve isn't scary to you, it's probably too easy of a goal. If you're just picking goals that are super easy to accomplish and you're achieving all of them, that's great. I'm glad you've been successful in achieving those goals, but at the same time, why aren't you choosing harder goals that don't require you to go through some stuff that is challenging and requires you to work with people that you've hated working with before for whatever reason, or you just have issues with a certain person. Maybe you need to patch up that relationship and figure out what needs to happen so that you can achieve these goals together.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, if they're just not great people to work with, don't work with them. But still, because bad relationships can mess up a lot of different things. But yeah, you're going to have to, if your goals are not forcing you to learn new things and learn challenging things and change your perspective and forcing you to work with people and get help from people, your goals are probably not big enough.
True. That's very true. I didn't understand that till I actually put myself in a situation where I'm like, damn, this is kind of.
And I mean, like, that could be as simple as going to school again and getting help from teachers.
Yeah.
To learn the things that you need to learn to achieve the goals that you want to achieve.
Asking questions.
It doesn't necessarily have to be in a business context either, where you're getting help from a business partner, a potential business partner, or someone that's going to fund your business. It can be that too, but it could just be as simple as like finding someone that knows what you need to find out, and you're just too stubborn to go and do that.
Mm-hmm.
You should probably go and do that.
Yeah. I see it a lot nowadays, like, being older and going to school back, and then seeing like the fresh, either 17, like just graduated high school, going to 17, 18-year-olds in that class with you or something. And then like
that can be intimidating. Yeah.
I mean, no, the fact that they don't raise their hand for anything and they just let the question just ride, or let the answer just ride, or let the whole thing that's being taught just ride. And then like you're like there, I'm like, dude, I get this. You raise your hand. I feel like back in the day, you'd be like, if you raise your hands, everyone's gonna be like, oh my God, this guy's dumb. But now it's like, dude, I didn't get it, and I paid for this class, and I better freaking pass. So you start asking questions, you start having this conversation with this person, and until you actually understand, and they teach it to you actually get it. And it's so funny because 9 out of 10 times,
someone else had the same question.
Yeah, and most of them are gonna be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you know who does that really well? Adam.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
God. Dude, there would be times where I'm like, Adam, stop asking the questions. and then I'll be like, after like a couple times though, he did it so many times, I was like, no, this guy's right.
Yeah.
No, this guy's definitely, he's like,
absolutely.
He's like, I'm going to steal that from him. And I actually started adapting that a little bit more, because I used to do it all the time, but I kind of stopped because I thought I was like falling behind and everyone else was getting the thing. And I was like, I don't want to look stupid. But then I remembered it's better to look stupid for like a minute than for the rest of your damn life.
Yeah. Well, and these people are going to respect you more for asking a stupid question because they probably would have felt stupid. My personal problem with that topic, I've never felt scared of looking stupid for asking a question. I just more often than not, the reason I didn't ask a question wasn't necessarily because I was scared. It was because I didn't even know what question to ask. Like, I didn't even know where I was missing my understanding. I was like not understanding it. And I'm like, I don't know.
What class is this?
I can't think of any examples right now because I've gotten better at asking questions.
Right.
I've gotten better at figuring out what those areas were. But for me, it was a lot of like, I don't even know what question to ask. I don't know where to start to figure out what I'm not understanding.
I'm the same way.
And that's another big thing about learning how to find information. Like we were saying before, is like learning how to find information, learning how to ask the right questions is very important. I don't know how to train that skill. It's something I'm still working on and learning how to do, but that is definitely a skill that
You just gotta
I want to get better at. And it's not even just that, because like just sending it.
I don't mean sending it. I mean sending the fact that you just gotta like be the person that just is like, you know what, I don't know and I don't get it. Please take the time to teach me. You know, just be that person.
Yeah, you could also just ask a general question to hopefully maybe they explain it in a different way so that you understand it a little bit better, and then understand where you're not understanding it a little bit better so that you can ask the right question to answer whatever question you actually need. Because that's the thing, is like, I don't understand this, but I don't know what it is about this that I don't understand, so I don't know what question to ask to help myself understand.
Exactly.
That was where I was always struggling, is like, I don't even know where to start with asking a question. I could ask this, but I don't even know if this is what I need to learn to understand. So it's like, that's another hard part, is like knowing what questions to ask. Asking the right questions is very important.
Yeah, and if that person kind of looks down on you or kind of makes fun of you,
They're the asshole.
Yeah. It's going to bite themselves in the ass, because later on, let's say you're the only help they have, and they didn't take the time to actually teach you or show you something, and they made a fool of you. It's going to bite them in the ass when they're like, "Can you help me?" And you're like, "I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do because you didn't teach me."
Exactly.
I would love to help you.
So yeah, just keep in mind, stay away from those people.
That's also true.
Yeah.
We're about 45 minutes in. I think we've covered some pretty good ground today.
Yeah.
Around some pretty good topics, multiple good topics. We were talking about cars a little bit, talking about, entrepreneurship to a degree, more stocks and stuff. For those that didn't understand that about stocks, hopefully
I actually made it very clear.
Understand. I hope so.
I'm surprised. I was like trying to follow along at first. I was like, and then you started kind of going back at it again, and I was like, that makes sense. So
you didn't ask any questions.
Didn't need to.
You didn't even know what question to ask, did you?
No.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, man.
What in the world's going on? And I started paying a little bit more attention. I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyways, dividends are great. All that good stuff. Make sure you're doing research on what stocks pay what dividends and whether or not that's a reliable stock to get into in the first place. You don't want to get a stock that pays really good dividends just to find out that they're going to fail because they're paying too good of dividend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I invest in a company that's young, and the attractive thing about them is that they're paying so much in dividends, how much money are they actually putting back into the company to make sure that they're not overpaying dividends? And because that's one thing that'll happen. A company might cut back on their dividends because they're going through tough times. And in order for the company to remain profitable, to eventually be able to get dividends in the first place, and to protect the price of the stock itself, they might have to cut back on dividends.
That makes sense.
So you want to make sure that if you're going to invest in a stock, they're not paying so much in dividends that it's endangering their bottom line to be able to put forth a good product.
Right.
Because that's what you're investing in the first place. It's like, I'm not necessarily investing in a company. I'm investing in the future probability that this company is going to remain as profitable or become even more profitable.
Interesting.
Yeah. We could get into stocks.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Another time.
You make this make sense.
I'm glad. I hope so. Maybe we'll do our own Money Mondays.
We start getting calls like, dude, I'm in debt.
Well, I want to get a bit more experience in researching stocks and investing well myself. I will be doing a lot of that this coming year and for the rest of my life, really. But lately I've been paying off some debts, some courses that actually have gotten me this knowledge on how to invest in stocks and business and all of that. Yeah. This year has been very financially draining to get information. But this next year is going to be, I'm going to blow up.
Yeah. I think we should just send it.
Send it.
Just
send what?
Do it. Just do whatever we need to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just do it. I feel like we
start an OnlyFans. I'm kidding.
Only feats.
Only feats.
No, I think we're like, we have all the equipment we need. We have like
cusp of greatness.
We have it, but we're just like too afraid to just take the shot. That's how I feel.
No, I definitely
That's how
see
feel.
that.
I feel like we have all the equipment. We have all the practice.
We have yes.
Like the bullseye is right there. They're just waiting for us to just
see. We've been practicing hitting the bullseye. We've been getting the muscle memory figured out. We've been getting the aim figured out. We've been figuring out how to hit the bullseye. We've been reading theory on the bullseye. Now we just need to hit the bullseye.
We just need to show up to the championship. Final battle right here.
We need to keep putting in that work every day, like we have been.
You know what I'm saying?
It hasn't been as every day as it could be, but this next year, like I said, I'm focused on making the money with the knowledge that I have, not just getting the knowledge. Because this year has been mostly just getting the knowledge. This next year, I'm really trying to use the knowledge.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, that's where I'm at.
I told a student. We had a student today. Sorry.
Go for it.
And I'm like, do you see yourself doing this for the rest of your life? And she's like, hell no. And I'm like, same, girl. Like maybe 10 years.
Yeah, 10, 15 years.
10, 15 years tops.
Build a foundation.
Absolutely. Learn all the cool, like, medical stuff that I need to learn so I can use it on, like, in case something happens. Or, like, I know what to do in case of an emergency with my own family or other people or people I know, friends, family, whatever, loved ones. But damn, I do not see myself slaving away for the good America.
No. Like that retire 60, be a teacher thing, that's like in 5 to 10 years, I want to be done with working for anyone but myself. And then from 35 onward until 60, do business and all kinds of other stuff. And then at 60-ish, be a school teacher kind of thing.
Okay.
Maybe I'm going to be a school teacher. Maybe I'm going to be a pod teacher. Maybe school is going to be so different we won't even have the right words for it.
I was just thinking about that.
Who knows? But teaching, I think, at 60, when I'm an old man that isn't trying to, go to the gym every single day and lift my heart out.
Oh, no, bro. I'll be in there every day.
Well, I'm still going to be working out, but I'm not going to be, blasting Tren or anything like that.
Just going to go full on.
I believe in you.
Cardiac arrest at 45.
Be doing calisthenics.
I know. Oh, God.
All right, man. I think we should end it off here.
Should definitely cut it.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm Lemac.
Carlos.
And this has been Some Young Guys, just trying to solve the world's problems in a podcast.
Thanks for joining us once again, guys.
Absolutely.
Peace.